I am Christine Hayquist with the League of Women Voters in Greater Rockford, and I would like to thank everybody for attending tonight for our town hall meeting. League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization that neither endorse or oppose candidates for office or parties. Okay. I would also like to thank Harlem School District, where my nephews have graduated from, along with the journalism and media class students. Yay! And they're going to be leading the program tonight. And also, I'd like to thank the culinary class students for the refreshments that are going to be served after the program. Yay! One of the main goals of the League of Women Voters is to engage the community in civic processes and get the vote out. I wanted to let you know that in 2023, the consolidated election only had 9.1% of the Rockford registered voters participate, and yet local elections impact all of our lives. Okay? So please take what you learned tonight, share it with others, and encourage everyone that you know to get out and vote on or before April 1st. Okay? So a little bit about the format tonight. Each candidate will have 3 minutes to introduce themselves to the audience. And then I want you, please hold any questions to the end of our event, and everyone to listen respectfully. And at that point now, I would like to just make some housekeeping announcements. Please turn off your cell phone, the ringer, and lower the volume. So if your phone's like mine, even when I turn it off for whatever reason, if they text me, the volume is still, you can hear it. Restrooms are off of the cafeteria area. And now I would like to introduce one of the students, Kennedy Myers, who is a junior here at Harlem School District.
All right, we're now going to begin with the opening statements. We're going to start with the Rock Valley College trustee candidates. I'd like to call up candidate Jenna Goldsmith, please.
Good evening. It's only 6. Okay. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you to the League of Women Voters and Harlem High School students. We would love to have you at Rock Valley College in the near future. The last time I was in this building, I think we lost our basketball game. I went to Belvedere High School, so I'm a little bit triggered, but I'm very happy to be here. So my name is Jenna Goldsmith. I'm running for one of 3 seats on the Rock Valley College Board of Trustees. I am a Boone County native. I graduated from Belvedere High School in 2004, and I graduated from Rock Valley College in 2006. A board of trustees is a lot like a school board. It's a governing body that's responsible for the overall direction and well-being of a college. It oversees major decisions like hiring and firing a president, for instance, though that's not the only thing that they do, obviously, and ensures the college's mission is fulfilled. Community colleges must remain accessible, and they must remain affordable. I'm running for a spot on the board because I believe that my 18 years of working in higher education brings a perspective that is not currently represented on the board. At this point, there are no board members who have a background in higher ed. I know what it's like to be a student at Rock Valley College, as well as I understand the nuances of being in a complex college setting. I have been staff, faculty, and I'm currently an administrator remotely for Oregon State University. As a writer, I was the City Poet Laureate of Rockford for 2 years, from 2023 to this past January. And it would be my honor to help translate some of the complicated stuff that we do as a board to just your everyday average citizen of our very vast college district, 511, which spans all of Boone County, all of Winnebago County, some of Stevenson, some of Ogle, some of McHenry County, and 3 voters in DeKalb County because of the way that the lines are drawn. I would be thrilled to have your vote on April 1st, and if you are in Winnebago County, you can vote for me. So have a great night. Thank you again to League of Women Voters and for you all being engaged citizens. Thank you.
Yeah. Right, thank you, Ms. Jenna Goldsmith. We're now going to invite candidate Richard Kennedy up onto the stage.
A little dark in here tonight. Got to get my glasses. Hello, I wanted to thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this event. I'm a trustee at Rock Valley College, and I'm asking you for your vote for the 6-year term on April 1st. I am a citizen of McChesney Park, and I've lived in this community with my family for 22 years. I am blessed to live in such an outstanding community, and I'm very happy that we, as a family, decided to make McChesney Park our lifetime home. I retired from the Rockford Police Department because of injuries. My wife currently works at the police department, and she's hoping to retire in the next 2 years. After retiring, I actually spent a couple years as a substitute teacher here in the Harlem School District, but I eventually decided to work as a civilian employee at the Rockford Police Department, where I'm currently at right now. After retiring, I felt a void in my life, as if my job as a public servant was not complete. My passion for helping others is in my blood, and I look forward to helping my community grow and prosper. The responsibility of being a police officer was helping people who needed help in difficult circumstances, showing compassion, empathy to others, and you give the same level of service to each victim. You provide resources to individuals who need help, and you answer questions to the best of your ability. There should be the same qualifications as any person running for a political position. Providing access to higher education at an early age gives a student an advantage to gain college credits while in high school, but at the same time makes them comfortable to know that they can achieve their dreams if they educate themselves and dedicate themselves to obtaining their college education. Providing access gives them the opportunity to be the best versions of themselves, which in turn gives them self-worth and goals to achieve. The student eventually is able to graduate, which provides financial stability, which in turn allows them to obtain the American dream. This ability to gain college credits while in high school is available at Rock Valley College. I strongly believe success in higher education can reduce poverty, homelessness, and crime. I believe each elected official should strive to make their community a better place for all, with compassion, empathy, respect, and encouraging our youth to be better than the previous generation. I ask my community for the continued support on my mission to help others, and I ask you for your vote April 1st. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, Richard Kennedy. I would like to invite candidate Jerry Simmons up to the stage.
Oh, good day. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jerry Simmons. Not too long ago, I actually sat in this auditorium as a student. I attended Rockford Public Schools my whole life, graduated from Harlem a couple years back. Well, I'm gonna make it very brief. My story is familiar to so many people in this community. I was born and raised in Rockford. My grandmother raised me. My grandparents raised me. My mother was shot and killed due to the gun violence that floods our streets and plagues our neighborhoods. Like so many in this community, education was the only thing I could turn to. That was the only thing I knew. It was the only thing that kept me out of trouble. So spending my life trying to battle adversity and understanding that the fact that the problems we have today cannot be the choices we try to put ourselves in tomorrow. I was the first male in my family to ever actually graduate from high school. Not many of my males in my family have passed a 5th grade education. I attended Rock Valley College shortly last couple of years, and now I'm finishing my degree up in education. We're looking forward to being in the classroom, being a teacher within the next year. I spent my life, like I said, breaking barriers, working to be an example, showing people that there's life at the end of the tunnel. That if you work hard enough for anything, that the opportunities were endless. I'm running for the future of this community because no matter where you come from, the opportunities that I had growing up should be available to each and every one of you, to your grandkids, to your students, to your children. I understand that what a great education, how far it can take you. A little bit about my journey right now. I currently serve as a state employee for the state of Illinois, where every day I work to close cases, give people the help that they need. I hear some of the worst stories that you would ever imagine, and my job is to help them get the help that they deserve. And that's exactly what I'll do as a trustee. I think it's vitally important as trustee and board members that we're delivering results, that we're helping those who need the help as much as possible. I think it's vitally important that we extend a handout to those who in this community who feel like there's no one there for them. And as your board member, I look forward to continuing to bring that same act of service that I've had the last 5 years working for the state to the Rock Valley College Board. So thank you. I look forward to earning your vote. Any questions you have, we'll answer at the end. Thank you so much.
Right, thank you, Mr. Simmons. We are now going to move on to the Harlem 122 School Board candidates. I'd like to call up candidate Karen Bell to the stage.
Good evening. It's nice to see your beautiful faces. I'd first like to thank the League of Women Voters and also the students who have worked so hard to put this event together. My name is Karen Bell, and I am a candidate for the Harlem School Board, and I'm running alongside Katie Littlefield, Jeremy Hissong, and also Paul Hoffman. I want you to know that I grew up in Rockford and attended Rockford Public Schools, and then later on moved into Roscoe, Illinois. My daughters attended and graduated from the Harlem School District, and now my grandchildren attend. My career is in public service, working for the state agencies like public housing, health and human services, Department of Family and Protective Services, and now I am a licensed social worker and I work in the area of hospice. My interest is in researching policies that's going to impact our district, and also lobbying for our district for priorities that they need. So this is what we know. There are many things within the district that need our improvement, and I believe that it can be changed, some more critical than others. We all know that our students are what seems like light years behind in reading and in math. In fact, 28% of the Illinois third graders are a big concern. 7 out of 10 of the third graders had difficulty at their appropriate reading level. So we know the spending must be trimmed to identify budget opportunities for what is more significant. We know that our graduate rates must move beyond 85%. So the question is, where's the other 15%? We also know that there are things in our district that we cannot change, like our low-income student rate of 60% as well, and also students who come from multiple backgrounds. I'd like you to know that I'm a collaborative leader and a reputable communicator. I will not stand in the way of the clear vision set forth by the school district. I will not squabble, disrespect, or micromanage policies. We all have the capacity to be leaders, but this doesn't mean that everybody should lead. I will not make a career out of being a board member, selfishly clutching my seat, too frightened to hand over the baton to freshness or newness so that we all may win. I will not discount the current work that has gone forward. However, now is a good time to raise our standards. I will work with my fellow members to articulate a plan for overcoming the deficiencies in our district. To the teachers, I want you to know that I see you. Thank you for your patience in teaching. I will work fervently to support you in helping to overcome your daily challenges. In fact, we can't pay you enough for what you do. I want you to know that I see you, parents as well, and we appreciate you. Thank you for trusting your children in our public school system. Again, I would appreciate your vote on April 1st. Thank you so much.
Right, you may take your seat there. Right. I'd like to call up candidate Paul Hoffman to the stage.
Good evening, thank you. And I too, as a Harlem School Board candidate, deeply appreciate the work that the League of Women Voters put into hosting this event and the students working it. Thank you very much for the opportunity that we can let people know who we are, why we're running, and what we intend to do. As I said, my name is Paul Hoffman, and I was born and raised in the Detroit area. I moved to McChesney Park in 1985 and have lived in the Harlem School District for 40 years. I've met so many wonderful people in this community, and as I worked as an engineer and engineering manager at Collins Aerospace. Lynette and I, my wife, raised our family and participated in several community organizations. And my career was made possible by the education I received through my lifetime and the teachers, coaches, and mentors that spoke into my life. I remembered this as I mentored engineering interns, invested in career coaching, and supported highly skilled workers, people, as they pursued their goals. Some may think it funny, but it was gratifying working for one of my former engineering interns. I'm running for the Harlem School Board at a time when academic quality is a major issue in Illinois, nationally, and locally. I would like to apply the skills that I have developed, including listening, complex problem solving, and building teamwork with people that have competing interests as we review spending, budgets, and fund projects that can improve ELA and math scores, math proficiency. I've heard that many feel that our team, some may feel that we want to cut teacher salaries. We have that hasn't even been a topic of conversation. We have no interest in doing that. As Karen has expressed, teachers are the backbone of the education process. So, as my time draws to a close, I want to thank you again for coming, and I would be humbled and appreciate your vote April 1st.
Thank you. I would now like to invite Richard Janisek up to the stage, please.
Good evening. I will apologize up front because of my voice. I'm a retired administrator, school administrator, but I still work for Rockford Public Schools, and today I was a substitute principal at Eisenhower Middle School, and I think I lost my voice somewhere around the 6th grade lunch. I want to thank everyone for all the planning and being here tonight for this event and the opportunity to speak to everyone. My name is Rich Jancic. I live in McChesney Park with my wife, Carrie. She's a 1994 Harlem grad. We have 3 sons. One is a mechanical engineer. One is currently serving in the United States Navy. The other is currently serving in the United States Air Force. We also have 2 granddaughters and 2 very small Italian greyhounds. I've spent the last 36 years of my life working in education. I started as a vocational teacher. I taught drafting, woodworking, and computer-aided drafting. I also coached football, girls basketball, and boys and girls track. From there, I held the titles of assistant principal, associate principal here at Harlem, athletic director, building principal, and my last 10 years of my career as a superintendent. I retired in 2022, but continue to work, again, like I said, in the Rockford Public Schools. As a former superintendent for 10 years, and while I was superintendent those 10 years of 2 districts, so I did everything twice. So I didn't deal with 7 board members, I dealt with 14 board members. And during those 10 years, I attended over 300 board meetings and worked with 50 different board members. Also during that time, I served on a board of directors for Livingston County Vocation, where I was also the president of the board of directors for 2 years, also serving in Livingston County Special Ed Unit, 10 years, and the president of that board of directors for 2 years. I've negotiated several teacher contracts, worked with the Teamsters to create a new bus driver contract, worked through many building projects, and prepared 20 district budgets. I decided to run for the Board of Education to just simply serve my community and use my educational experiences just to be a resource. I have no hidden agendas. I have no axes to grind. I do have some promises, though. If elected, I promise to always listen. I always promise to have an open mind. And I always promise to keep the kids in the spotlight. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. I would now like to invite candidate Diana Johnson up to the stage.
Thank you, everyone. I, too, would like to thank the League of Women Voters to give us this opportunity to speak with you this evening, and to the students, because I know how much hard work goes into one of these events. My name is Diana Johnson, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a 1975 graduate of Belvedere High School. I earned a surgical technician degree in 1976 from Waukesha County Technical Institute. My husband, Steve, and I were married in 1980. For your math wizard, that's 45 years this May. We moved to the Metesky Park area in 1980, and Steve graduated from Harlem High School in 1972. We have one son, Ryan, in high school known as RJ, who graduated from Harlem High School in 2000. He went on to receive his Bachelor's of Accountancy from Lewis University in 2004, and he received his Master's of Accountancy from Northern Illinois University in 2005. Ryan and his wife, Emily, and our 2 grandchildren, Rhett and Maisie, live in the southwest suburbs of Chicago. And I can't forget our crazy little fur baby. We have a miniature schnauzer named Mycroft. I was a village trustee for 12 years, from 1993 to 2005. I served under 3 mayors and had a host of different trustees in that 12-year period that I worked with. 16 years as executive director of the Parks Chamber of Commerce, working with a board of 15. Chairman of the Young at Heart Festival for 16 years. Served on the Lions Club, Loves Park Lions Club board for many years, and also a past president. Served on the Loves Park Rotary Club board, also a past president. Served on the Harlem Community Center board of directors, and I served on the Carlson Boys and Girls Club board of directors. I pledge to be a dedicated and involved board member. I believe that communication, cooperation, and compromise, along with common sense, are the keys to being a good board member. I want to continue to keep the Harlem School District moving forward in a positive and productive manner and continue to promote Husky pride. Thank you.
Thank you. I would now like to call up candidate Patty Lawrence to the stage.
Hello, everybody. My name is Patty Lawrence. I have lived in the district since 1996. I want to start by thanking the League of Women Voters for having us all here tonight. I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. I know we have some storms rolling in, so it's nice to see some good attendance. I'd like to thank the culinary students, as well as I see our media students are also back there helping us out with the lights and sound tonight. So thank you to everybody. I know what it takes to put on an event like this. I was previously on the Harlem School Board, and that was for 16 years. While there, we unanimously voted for the construction of the new CTE Center, which was built last year, finished this year. And then we also did the turf project out on the football field. I'm very child-centered, so every decision that I make has to do with the community and the children in the district. So that's, let's see, I'm married to Chris Lawrence, and he is here with me tonight. He's an engineer. And we've been married for 30 years this fall. We have 4 children, all graduated and went through the Harlem School District. That's when I found my love for working in the community, as well as helping the kids and being involved with the school districts from elementary all the way up through the high school. So it has been an honor for me to serve, and I'm asking that I be able to serve again. One thing I want to say is people talk about if you come to the board with an agenda. And I'm here to tell you very upfront, I'm coming to the board with an agenda. And my agenda is to provide a safe and respectful learning environment for all students in Harlem. To advocate hiring a full-time grant writer to address building improvements and classroom needs. To focus on improving graduation rate and the school report cards. These are all very important things for our community, as well as our school district, and everybody who pays taxes knows we want results out of our school district. And that's what I'm going to try and give you every day that I am on the board. My campaign promise to you is I will serve as an educational advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision for the Harlem School District. I will manage financial resources responsibly and uphold the interests of taxpayers. I will advocate for equitable and quality education for every student in the district. I look forward to having your support, and if you have any questions for me, I will be at the table directly outside down the hall, and I look forward to speaking to all of you. Thank you. Have a great night. Sorry, I'm back.
Thank you. I would now like to call up candidate Katie Littlefield to the stage.
Good evening. I'm honored to be your candidate for the Harlem School Board. My name is Katie Littlefield. My husband and I have been head of a small business owners in Loves Park for over 30 years, and I hold an MBA from Rockford University. I bring extensive experience in school governance, having served as Rockton School Board President for 6 years and as Secretary of the Hononegah School Board for 2 years. I have seen firsthand what is possible when a high-functioning board collaborates with educators, parents, and the community to achieve meaningful progress for students. As a passionate advocate for education, I believe it is the foundation of our community. Education is the door of opportunity for students to walk through. A strong school system is essential for our children's future and the success of any society. So serving on the school board is an opportunity to ensure our schools remain strong, our students succeed, and our educators are supported. Improving our schools requires dedicated leadership willing to navigate difficult conversations and make thoughtful decisions. Teachers and staff are the heart of our district, and I am committed to ensuring they have the resources, the training, and support needed to thrive. Investing in educators means investing in students. One of my priorities is addressing the achievement gap that widened during the COVID-19 pandemic. These challenges demand innovative solutions, and by collaborating with educators and families, we can accelerate learning. Together, we can rebuild strong academic foundations and equip children with the skills needed for lifelong success. Improving our school districts improves our property values and makes our community more attractive for families looking to move here. I am proud of the Career and Technical Education Center and will work to ensure it continues to provide skilled workers to our area. But we cannot ignore the state of our district's buildings. The district must allocate, it looks like about $100 million for maintenance over the next decade and a little bit beyond. And where is this money coming from? Has it been planned for? Likely not. Neglecting our facilities for years has led to a crisis, or one that could become a crisis. Even current board members are questioning how these critical repairs will be funded. And if you vote for candidates that are endorsed by the teachers union, you may be voting for a board that plans to shift this burden onto taxpayers, maybe through a referendum. Now, when elected, I will focus on the fundamentals, a strong curriculum, a disciplined learning environment, unwavering support for teachers, and prioritizing school facilities. I will bring informed, thoughtful leadership to the board, always putting students first, putting students, educators, and the community first. I would be honored to earn your trust and ask for your vote for Bell, Hissong, Hoffman, and Littlefield so we can work together to strengthen our schools. Thank you.
Go around there. Thank you. I would now like to call up candidate Diane McKinney to the stage.
Hello there. I'm a little gimpy. I had a little bit of a knee surgery a couple days ago. So it's really nice to be here, and it's nice to see some familiar faces. Some of you I've taught with and worked with and had children with the students there. So hello, everyone. My name's Diane McKinney. I'm a lifelong resident of the Winnebago County, and I've lived in McChesney Park since 1985. I graduated from Harlem District in 1978. And my family are also Harlem graduates. My husband, Bill McKinney, graduated in 1976, and my son graduated from Harlem High School, too, in 1999. I was an educator in this district for 34 years. I taught at the middle school, teaching special education students at the very beginning of my career. I taught 9th grade health, adaptive PE, learning disabilities. I also worked in the program with cross-categorical students, had many background with the students in many electronic classes, wood building, cooking, all those other things. I taught English, I taught social studies, I also taught reading, and I taught math at the middle school level. Then I went on to Loves Park Elementary. I taught at Loves Park Elementary for 10 years. I am now what we call a retired teacher, even though I am a lifelong learner of education. I have desire to continue to give back to my community. When I retired, I told my friends and my associates that I would not leave this district without trying to give back. I did not substitute because at that point there was COVID going on, and I obviously felt a little bit uncomfortable going into the classrooms at that age and with that, some of my background. I am now running for the Harlem School Board. I feel that I can give back. I have the time to do that since I am a retired teacher. Being a former teacher in the district, I know what a student and what this district needs. I worked with many communities, many committees in this community. I worked with a lot of people building up some type of organizations, fundraising. I also worked with many policies, administrators, building all those policies for our building and our school. I was selected as one of the first teachers to open up the team approach at the middle school. We had the class program. It was our first time that we had teaming at the middle school level. It was a success, such a success that some of the teachers and some of the administration, some of the parents wanted us to continue that from a 7th grade to an 8th grade approach. There are many teams that continue to open up at that point, and we were proud to have the teaming started at the middle school, which is still a success today. I look forward to being a part of this board. I feel like our board is going in the right direction. Not only as a student that I went through this district, not only as a parent that I raised my son, and now as an educator and a retired teacher, I feel that we're going in the right direction. I hope that you will vote for me on April 1st so I can be part of this great school board. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I would now like to call up candidate Evelyn Meeks to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. I love this district. My name is Evelyn Meeks, and I'm currently running up for re-election. I moved into this district in 1988. I've lived here since then. I graduated from Auburn High School, not even thinking about coming to Harlem, but once I got here, I never wanted to leave. So I told everyone about this district. Through the years I've been here, I have seen the growth. Sure, we have some problems. Sure, we have things that we need to work on, but it takes us as a community to do that. I want to be as transparent as possible and let you know that I will continue to do what I can do at state level, because I do represent the state. I'm on the ISB State Resolution Committee. I won the Thomas Lay Burroughs Award in 2022 for the #1 school board member of the state out of the whole state of Illinois. I want our students, sure we have some problems, sure we have different things going on that we need to improve, but my main thing is students learning. You're only going to be one time being a child. You're going to always get older. But while you're in school, I want you to be able to enjoy 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, because those are the years you're growing. I want you to be able to go out into the world and always come back to Harlem and remember the good things that you did here at this school. We got the CTE program since I've been involved. We have the playgrounds for the kids. Our CTE programs were designed for students that, might not be college eligible. They don't want to really go to college, but they really don't know what they're going to do. But this CTE program has brought out a lot of happiness for all students, and we're continuing to improve it. But I just want you students to know that, and the teachers, that we are here for you. This board cares about each and every one of you. And I want you to know that whenever you have a problem or concern, I'm transparent. You can call me. And if you don't want anybody to know, who you are, I can keep that to myself too. I try to be here to help everybody, regardless of age, race, sexual orientation, religion, because we are all one person. And once we come together and show how much we care about each other and start focusing on our students, that's the only way that this country will ever be a better student, because we're living in different times. We're not in the 50s, 40s, 30s. We're living now, and times are continuing to change. Help our students to be able to succeed and become better people in this world. So I'm asking for your vote on April 1st. Remember me, Evelyn Meeks, and thank you so much, and I love this district.
Thank you very much. I got Larry Smith right here. You ready? All right, absolutely.
Rock and roll. Happy Pi Day, everybody. All right. Hi, my name is Larry Smith. Thank you for inviting me to this town hall. Thank you for all the people that did all the work to put it together. I appreciate it. As an introduction, I moved to Loves Park when I was 3 or 4 years old. I went to kindergarten at Grace Lutheran Church. They didn't have kindergarten in public schools then. Went to the Harlem schools and graduated in 1976. After graduation, I went to trade school, and I worked as an SAE certified auto mechanic for years. I joined the Army and proudly served for 21 years in active duty, in the reserves, as well as National Guard. I went to Rock Valley College and Northern Illinois University, where I got my teaching certificate. I started teaching in the Rockford Public Schools. I went from there. I taught at the Mill, which was a private school. We worked with troubled youth from around the state of Illinois. I became the education director there. I then went to Jefferson High School in Rockford, Illinois. And I worked there as an assistant principal as well as an associate principal. Then I proudly returned to Harlem High School, and I worked as an assistant principal in Harlem High School, and I was the principal at the Harlem High School 9th grade campus. I worked in the Harlem district for 13 years, and I retired. After retirement, I worked at a biodiesel refinery. I also then went to work for Northern Illinois University. I worked there, and I actually retired from there just last year. I was elected to the Harlem School Board back in 2021 and proudly served on the Harlem School Board since. After getting married, my wonderful wife and I moved to McChesney Park in 1992. Our two daughters attended the Harlem schools for 13 years. My youngest daughter actually had only one absence in those 13 years, and my oldest daughter didn't miss any days when she was in middle school and high school. They both went to Rock Valley College. My wife has actually served in the Harlem district longer than I did. She's currently on her 22nd year in the district. One of my daughters started teaching in the district while I was still an administrator in the district, and currently is teaching at Harlem Middle School. The Harlem School District is extremely important to me and my family, and I believe it is extremely important to this whole community. I do not have a political agenda. I just want to serve this community. Thank you so much. I appreciate your vote.
Thank you very much. All right, we're going to call up candidate Kurt Thompson to the stage. He's on his way.
No stoop to go higher. Hello, Harlem. How are we doing? A couple things before I start, and I've got some notes here, is let's thank the League of Women's Voters for putting this on. We're all guilty of going to the ballot box and seeing names and not knowing who's behind those names. So thanks for putting that on. You get to face the name, you get to know the story, and all of you guys that are here as well for that same reason. This is important. The reason why you're here is important. What we do is going to determine our children's lives, what they do after that, and where our taxpayers' money is going. No direct difference from that. I am a little nervous, if you can't quite tell, and everyone's doing some great reading. We got some fantastic orders, but the good news is I have been a great board member, and I'd like to continue to do that again. So that being said, I want to start with family. I was born and raised in Harlem, graduated from Harlem, graduated from NIU, and guess what? My wife, same thing. You know what happened? She went to NIU, and she graduated, and she became a teacher. She's been teaching for 18 years. Some of you might have had my wife as a teacher, or some of you, we're getting close enough to where some of your kids might have had my wife as a teacher. Beyond that, I have 3 amazing children, also in this district. Why is that important? I'm in it. You want to know what my axe to grind is, my bias? It's my kids and their education. And guess what? You all get to benefit from that. When my kids succeed and they do something or they see a problem, I'm in there. They get to see how the sausage is being made, and I get to help correct it and use my knowledge. And that's important. My middle child was the first one. When we moved the kids from the 5th grade to the 6th grade, who remembers that? Big deal, right? We're not sure how it's going to go. Is there going to be enough room? And there's still issues to work on all of these things. Are they going to get the education that they need? Guess what? Disciplinary actions are down for our 6th grade this year. 5th grade this year, there's more. They're able to interact with their children more. They're getting to get into additional avenues, not just one classroom. They're getting to experience that, see other kids from the district. Big stuff. And my kid, other board members currently on there, were part of it. It's a big deal. So that's another one that, oh wow, the time goes quick. I am a project manager as well, which means that I talk a lot as well, and we'll keep talking nonstop that way, but I've done a lot of great stuff. We've got the CTE building that has been absolutely amazing, and I want to continue off of that. we've got a lot of work. One of the big things is our early education. I'll talk your ear off on it. It's fantastic. The funds are cut to it. We're going to find to keep that going and grow it, because the children we catch early succeed. Again, 3 minutes is so hard. Please find me. I will talk your ear until you're done. I love this district. I am this district. Re-elect me so I can keep doing this work, being goofy up here, but I'm doing it for all of you guys, our kids, and our tax dollars. Thanks, guys.
Thank you to all our candidates. I'd now like to call up any candidate that was invited that I may have missed or that showed up late that wants to come up here. All right, so it doesn't look like anybody else is here, so now I'm going to invite Kayla Blazer to the stage, one of the student monitors, and she's going to tell you about the Q&A.
Hello, everyone. My name is Caleb Blazer, and I'm honored to be one of 3 moderators alongside Antonio Aguilera and Kennedy Myers. We are proud to announce that the questions generated are 100% student-driven. Harlem students completed a survey during their advisory where they could provide their perspectives and ask questions on topics that are most important to them. Every student had an equal opportunity to complete it and identify their main concerns throughout their school. Students were able to ask questions of their school board members and ask about their policies and initiatives they hope to see improve in their Harlem School District. Students were asked to rank the top 5 issues they felt were most important. The rounds were organized by topics that the students felt most impacted their Harlem experiences. This approach ensures that student voices are heard and empowers them to make a difference in their school.
Thank you, Newnham. All right, just to kind of reiterate the rules for this Q&A segment for both you guys and the school board members. Each member at their table will be given 30 seconds to answer a question. We have 3 tables, table 1, table 2, and table 3. I said 30 seconds, that is incorrect. It is 90 seconds for each candidate. Each table will be asked the same question. The questions will change for each table, but they will all be under the same subjects as was previously listed on the side. Thank you. All right. Starting us off with table 1, I will be addressing candidate Karen Bell first. There is currently fear that federal funding is going to be cut. If this were to happen, how would you prioritize the programs that are now currently in place?
If I was a school board member, of course, as a candidate, one of the things we must do is investigate. I know that there's many problems and concerns within the district, within the country. So me as a investigator, I would have to get to the root of what's really going on. Also, I am so very interested in policy. So that would be one of my strongest beliefs, is to investigate, to see how I could play out what the district is needing.
All right. I will move over to candidate Paul Hoffman. I will restate the question. There is currently fear that federal funding is going to be cut. If this were to happen, how would you prioritize the programs that are now currently in place?
So that's is it okay? Oh, it is working. So yes, I think that's a great question, and one that this is how I'm monitoring it right now, is I look at the national press, things coming out of Congress, and what exactly is happening. I regret that there's fear for a lot of cuts that are going to affect education. My current understanding is that, like pre-K, lunch programs, some of the other ones that are, very crucial, that those funds are still coming into the school system. But there are employee cuts in the agencies being proposed. And that, I see it as a positive that the money that our country is bleeding, at $2 trillion a year deficits, is being addressed. So I think it's important that they cut in the right places, and we are aware of it, and then work with our legislators. One legislator that I think is important for us to connect with is Congressman Darren LaHood, who represents this area, and coordinate our concerns, and I would work in that area.
All right. Moving on over to candidate Richard Janicek, I will repeat the question for a third time. There is currently fear that federal funding is going to be cut. If this were to happen, how would you prioritize the programs that are now currently in place?
I think you look at a few different things when you lay the budget out. You do a needs assessment. Now, I always believe that schools can do anything, but sometimes you can't do everything. So you have to prioritize. So a needs assessment helps with that. Also, the feasibility studies on not just the services we are providing now, but what services are going to be needed in the next few years, because you can see trends. But I think when you look at those different services or where there's going to be cuts, whether it's our choice or somebody else's choice, I think you look at the regional office or you look at neighboring school districts. Where can you share services? Where do you look at where everybody's strengths are, and everybody circles the wagons, and everybody looks at how is it that we can still do what we're doing or duplicate that as much as we possibly can with what we got or what we're going to get.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on over to table 2.
All right, I'm going to address candidate Diana Johnson first. The CTE building completed construction over the summer and is now in use as of last semester. Considering future installments and renovations, how do you plan on using our current funding to improve or upgrade the buildings and structures throughout the district?
Well, thank you. Well, I say, just being new to the board, that's one thing that we have to consider. We have to see how we can fund it and keep it going with the cuts, whether we could have a recession going on. But I truly do believe that our administration, I went to the meeting for the meeting of the whole on Wednesday. I stayed for the business part, and I listened to a lot of what they had to say. I know our assistant superintendent, Josh Arand, who's in charge of the operations and business portion of things, had said already that he is already seeing how we can handle all this and all the different costs. He's working on that very closely, and I think he's got a good handle on it. You know, he said in the meeting that when he came on board in 2008, he was there for less than 6 months and the big recession hit, and he navigated the Harlem School District through that. And I remember what a great job he did doing that, and he's already thinking ahead and thinking of ways to get this done. So I'd definitely look to him and the existing board members to get their input to see how we would do that. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move on to candidate Patty Lawrence. The CTE building completed construction over the summer and is now in use as of last semester. Considering future installments and renovations, how do you plan on using our current funding to improve or upgrade the buildings and structures throughout the district?
I feel like I'm at an advantage on this question because I actually worked on the CTE building as a staff member. I was the CTE coordinator for 3.5 years, and in that role, I was able to secure funding through DCEO grants and $500,000. I was able to secure a donation from one of our local businesses of $250,000. I secured $60,000 in money to purchase new tools for the new CTE building, as well as miscellaneous donated equipment for the buildings. So I think just having that awareness that those grants are out there and that we can continually be applying for these, I think that my first recommendation would be to hire a full-time grant writer, and that's all they do is write grants to support our classrooms, our students, and our teachers in the classroom. I think that's the most important thing we can do with any financial cuts. My recommendation would always be, when it comes to cuts, is never cut anything related to the students. If it comes to their learning, if it comes to after-school activities, all of those create a whole student. So my thing is do the least amount of harm, and that means by not starting with anything that the students are impacted by. Thank you.
Candidate Katie Littlefield. The CTE building completed construction over the summer and is now in use as of last semester. Considering future installments and renovations, how do you plan on using our current funding to improve or upgrade the buildings and structures throughout the district?
Yeah, and sort of I said in my statement as I started, so very proud of the CTE building. I think it's crucial. I think we've seen, that shift into the trades, so that being accessible to students that want to take that path, and we see that there's great success in that for students to do that. So continuing to bolster that and expanding that as best as we can. How I would see funding for the different buildings, obviously not sitting on the board, you look at you look at the school district budget and having looked at the DLA architecture plan for the 10-year life safety that does go all the way for 20 years. It's a pretty extensive amount of money that needs to be spent on schools because as we all know, the buildings are aging, and so there is going to have to be a very strong focus. Right now, the Buildings and Grounds Committee is wrapped up into finance. It doesn't even have its own committee. That is very unusual for districts to not have a specific Buildings and Grounds Committee. So it doesn't seem, not that they're not focusing on it, but maybe not to the prioritizing it in the way that it needs to be, considering the amount of money that needs to be put back into the schools. Now, when you look at I'm talking school board talk, a 10-year life safety plan. Some of those things are extras that architects put in there. So even trimming that back by 20 and 25% still puts it at $85 million over a 10-year. That's $8.5 million a year that needs to be allocated from the budget. So that is something that, as a board, we would have to get extremely creative on how we're going to fund that.
Thank you. All right, now to Diane McKinney. The CTE building completed construction over the summer and is now in use as of last semester. Considering future installments and renovations, how do you plan on using our current funding to improve or upgrade the buildings and structures throughout the district?
Okay, I love that we have this center. I think it's the best thing that we have invested in the last few years of this educational program. These kids have the opportunity to go out and be mentored by the tradespeople. They also have apprenticeships that they can work with, and eventually those people and the students will work together to bring them back to our own community. In order to save the money, I'm not real privy on the information about how much the finance is, since I am learning to become part of a board member. What I would think, though, is that Josh Rand, once again, I sat on a couple meetings with him, and I just feel strongly that he knows the direction and what our district is going, and I feel that he can work things out with our board and look at the financial part of it, and I think he's doing a good job also with that part.
We're going to move on to table 3.
This question is directed to candidate Evelyn Meeks. Harlem is hearing a large amount of parent and student complaints due to the change in school start times. This change was, however, required due to lack of bus drivers. How do you plan on obtaining more bus drivers because of the recent shortages?
Okay, hello, can you hear me? We're discussing that right now. I understand what's going on, and I feel sorry for, the things that are happening and the problem that it's causing, but that's something that administrators did work on to try to improve, making sure that all students were able to get to school and back home. But we're working on trying to do something to really help our students and the parents and the teachers to be able to teach, get our kids in school in time and be able to leave, because I know some students are coming to school sleepy or some are leaving tired, but it's a hard subject. And I don't want to say anything false or misquote anything, but I want you to know that we do care, and we are truly, truly working on trying to improve this. And hopefully we will come up with something before the next school year that will benefit and help everyone.
Thank you.
This is not a problem that just started because the school start times changed. The whole idea of transportation and providing the transportation is important to the school district, and it's a big deal. And it's something that we've been talking about since I've been on the board, and I'm sure they were talking about it before I ever got on the board, is recruiting and keeping the bus drivers. Yeah, that's part of the problem, and that's I don't want to say, you don't want to blame somebody, but yeah, the transportation has significant impact on the start time. So I advocate for thinking outside of the box. We support those administrators whose job it is to come up with these plans. They run the plans by us. We have people on the board who are real smart that come up with some great ideas. But yeah, just got to think out of the box and come up with those solutions as best we can.
Thank you. This next question, the same question, is directed to candidate Kurt Thompson. To reiterate the question, Harlem is hearing a large number of parent and student complaints due to the change in school start times. This change was, however, required due to lack of bus drivers. How do you plan on obtaining more bus drivers because of the recent shortages?
Thank you. Am I allowed to talk? I don't want to blow your ears off. All right, there we go. Can you hear me? I probably don't even need a microphone. So I have been working on this since it was announced at the end of last year. It's a problem. I joked we need 18 bus drivers and nothing has to change. And with that, more bus drivers retired. We had great bus drivers. It's how it's going to work. And we were seeing, if you guys remember in the news, we had Rockford having blackouts. Their kids would go to the bus stop and there's no bus that's coming. We could not have that happen. And between our team of administrators, they came up with a plan, the tiered plan. It got everyone to school. It accomplished that. The problem, as you know, are the start times. We've got kids that are getting to school very early, kids that are starting very late, and based on your age, it's difficult. I've worked with different software on the buses, handling with buses as well, going through and seeing all the start times of other neighboring districts and the time to come up with a plan, and I'm not done. We're going to find something, be it 19 bus drivers, or difference on times, but if this impacts you, you know the difficulty. You know that high school has to worry about getting to internships in school. You know that our special education programs have those appointments that need to get there. There is not a magic bullet for this. It's making everything best we can, and I'm not done fighting. Let me keep fighting. Thank you.
The question's back to table 1.
Starting over at table 1, this time I will be addressing candidate Paul Hoffman to get us started. Fine arts classes, such as music, theater, and art programs, are sometimes the first to take a hit when budgets are cut. How would you, if elected, support the fine arts in the Harlem School District, both financially and also socially?
Fine arts is, I'm not a musician or have done fine arts as an engineering background, but I have lots of family members that are in it, and it's very important to our whole side of life. So just as sports are very important to train us in addition to academics, so music, the different fine arts are needed for the total human experience. So funding and budget priorities have to be discussed as a board. I think as part of my experience, there's multiple competing requirements in a budget, and so it has to be balanced. Perhaps a certain percentage reduction across the board for different departments. But yeah, it is a budget balancing act and negotiation at the board level. My approach would be to listen. This is to really understand what's needed by the fine arts department as a singular department.
Addressing Richard Janicek, I will repeat this question. Fine arts classes, such as music, theater, and art programs, are sometimes the first to take a hit when budgets are cut. How would you, if elected, support the fine arts in Harlem School District, both financially and socially?
So I had to play football. but I had no fine arts expertise whatsoever, no talent. But I had a music teacher approach me and say, we need you in our next play. I was in Little Abner. And so I was an athlete and I was a member of theater. I've always felt like co-curricular and extracurricular activities are so important because there are things learned and taught after school in those activities that cannot be duplicated in a textbook. You have to live them. And so when you look at budgets, there shouldn't be a priority to football or basketball, regardless whether we have a winning team or we have a losing team. It's about activities. And if there is some sort of a budget formula that there's X amount of participants, then that goes the same with co-curriculars and extracurriculars, just as athletics and theater. They're both important, and one of them should not take a back seat on the finances. And I agree. If there's hits, everybody gets hit, not the fine arts. Thank you.
On to candidate Karen Bell with the same question.
I should say, I believe that fine arts are so very necessary. When my daughters were small, they did ballet before at Rockford Dance Company. They also took music lessons, violin music lessons, the Suzuki method at Rockford University or Rockford College at that time. So I know how critical it is. And most students can learn through music, if not on the academic side because our minds work different. So as far as the budget is concerned, I think that it's critical, as they were saying, to share the budget with other activities. But I don't see cutting it because it is fine arts, because fine arts is critically important to every student and those who are gifted in that area as well too.
I'm going to begin with Patty Lawrence. Students in the U.S. are on average a half a grade behind in reading and math, and 10 to 20% of students fail tests, yet we still have an 85% graduation rate at Harlem. Why do you think this is the case, and how will you address this?
Well, I think academically, COVID has really put a lot of schools behind the 8 ball, and we were able to secure some COVID funding, which did help with tutoring and assistance for the students during that period. Is it enough? No. Were we behind before COVID? Yes. I think it's important to realize that the graduation rate that everyone looks at is to understand that that is actually the students that start in kindergarten, do they graduate from the same school district? So it's not, we had these students start their senior year and only this many graduated. It's actually they start tracking it in kindergarten and how many of those kindergartners. And as everyone knows, Harlem is a transient district. We do have a lot of students moving in and out of the district with the apartment buildings and things like that. So I think it's important for us to stay focused, to really take a look at the curriculum that we're teaching and to continue funding for tutoring and additional help for the students that we do have to get them caught up. I know that it's always an option to have students come out one-on-one, which, every student learns differently. Some people can look at a video and learn, some people like to be hands-on, and some people like to read it in a book. So as educators in the district, we really need to reach the students where they are. So depending on how they learn is what we need to really use to help catch them up and keep them hopefully up to standards. So I think that's the important thing, is just providing, as much education and opportunities for learning that we can for all students.
All right, we'll move down to Katie Littlefield. Same question for you.
Would you repeat the question so I make sure I answer it?
Okay. Students in the U.S. are on average a half a grade behind in reading and math, and 10 to 20% of students fail tests, yet we still have an 85% graduation rate at Harlem. Why do you think this is the case, and how will you address this?
Yeah, I think you have some national averages there. I think when you address education, there's nothing that's a slam dunk. We all wish there was such a thing as a slam dunk when it comes to graduation rates, when it comes to raising the bar. But I do, as far as academically, I do think, though, that is partnering with families is a crucial part of that, because when families are invested in their children's education, the children do much better. And I think when that's detached, and not that that's the school district's full responsibility, but if they can make that place available for that connection between the family and the education and the importance of that, that can raise the bar. I also think what we celebrate in any district as leaders, when you celebrate something, you get more of it. So I think really celebrating the successes that teachers are having throughout the district, where they are reaching and impacting students that are struggling, that needs to be replicated, that needs to be looked at, celebrated, and replicated over and over and over. Sure, we can get new curriculum, sure, we can have new ideas, but sticking with things that we see that are working needs to be done over and over and over and over. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. And I also think messaging is huge, getting students to school and all of that. So there's a lot of things that you can put in play there, but that's some of my thoughts.
Okay, we will now go on to Diane McKinney. Would you like me to restate the question, or are you ready? Okay.
As an educator and working in the classroom, I know how hard it is to reach every single kid. But my goal was that I had to find out where they were lacking and what skills they were lacking. I had to figure out the individual educational point for them. So I had to look at their reading ability, I had to figure out where they were, and I had to address some of the concerns. Maybe it was comprehension, maybe it was vocabulary, and trying to reteach that in a certain way so that they would grasp that information. It's very hard to say that we only have an 85% graduation level. I'm proud of that, and I'm thinking every teacher in this building or anybody working in this community would feel thrilled about that. I know there's got to be improvement. Improvement in every school district. We're trying our hardest, and these teachers are putting forth their mighty all, and I appreciate that. And I really, really want to make sure that the kids have every opportunity they can. Parent contact is really important. If we're struggling and they're having a hard time learning, then we are available for after-school tutoring or before-school tutoring. I never had a problem with that. I always wanted to be there for those kids. So we could work something out with the parent. We could work something out with maybe a reading specialist. Maybe they can get a little bit more opportunities to give me or other teachers a little bit more of a different curriculum to meet those standards for those kids.
All right. Now the same question will be directed to Diana Johnson. Do you want me to restate, or are you ready?
Yes, if you could restate it, please.
Okay. Students in the U.S. are on average a half a grade behind in reading and math, and 10 to 20% of students fail tests, yet we still have an 85% graduation rate at Harlem. Why do you think this is the case, and how will you address this?
Thank you. I too feel that our 80% graduation rate is a very good rate. We can certainly improve it, but we have great teachers out there that are teaching our kids, working with our kids, so we should be very proud of that. Also, the fact that I attended the committee of the whole meeting on Wednesday night, and they gave a very nice presentation about looking into new academic forces for us, a whole new curriculum, which is going to really bring the Harlem School District wonderful things. Like, I was so excited to hear how the teachers were talking about it. They did the trial, what they thought the kids were, how the students were reacting to it. So I think doing things like that is really going to increase that reading level in the grade schools. And I do say that there's always ways to improve, but I think we're on the right track and we're moving forward.
All right. Thank you. We will now move on to Table 3.
This question will be directed to candidate Larry Smith. With Illinois offering a performing arts pathway in 2027, what will you specifically do to help Harlem prepare for this pathway? In other words, how will you ensure we transition our high school from a STEM model to a STEAM model?
Could you repeat the question, please?
With Illinois offering a performing arts pathway in 2027, what will you specifically do to help Harlem prepare for this pathway? In other words, how are you going to ensure we transition our high school from a STEM model to a STEAM model?
Oh, okay, I got you. I got you. Thank you. Thank you. As a school board member, we empower teachers, we empower the superintendent, we empower the principals, we empower the teachers. I'm a huge supporter of the arts. So I'm not going to put any barriers between what our administrators see as what would be the best way to position our students to have the best pathway to an esteemed path. So I would not do anything. But I think what's important is we have to realize that we have some wonderful administrators and we have some wonderful teachers who are invested in the arts, and we just have to, as a board, continue to empower them.
That next question will be directed to candidate Kurt Thompson. Would you like me to restate the question?
No, I understand the question. So one, pathways are fantastic, and I love to see them growing, and going into this area of the fine arts is excellent as well. I'm going to say there's going to be one big one that everyone's waiting for, but first off, not a lot, because our teaching staff, when it comes to theater, did anyone see the School of Rock? Amazing. If we can do that and then bring that to more students, we're on the right pathway. But we as a board, first, have not, we have approved everything that has come our way when it comes to that. There are improvements, we all know them, we're working on them. We've invested in the past 4 years, $350,000 in the room that we're all sitting in, and it's still not enough. We've got to worry about catwalks being corrected. We need to make sure the lights work without chewing gum. I joke. We got to get the LEDs things set. We have very creative staff that's making us hear this right now, that's doing amazing jobs, and we have to help support them. We can look towards budgets which are going to be tight to do that, but we're creative. Also, it takes a community. I always say it. We've got fundraisers by our amazing staff to get money for pianos, and that's amazing. There's more that we can do with the community. We're going to find funds. We have one of the best persons. I heard about finding grants and getting a full-time. We've got someone that can find grants better than anyone right now, and they're going to be able to find grants to do this. I think this is awesome. I think we need a bigger focus on our fine arts, and I'm glad we're going in that direction, and I will push for the board to make that even better. Thank you.
Thank you. That same question will be directed to candidate Evelyn Meeks.
Okay, piggybacking off everybody else, I was in arts when I was in school, and I know what it means to the students. This is something that we truly need, and we believe in it. Our administrators, our teachers, staff, they work hard to try to do the best things for our students. And one thing I know, that when you're in arts, that does help you to be able to function in school and to function in life. I played the violin when I was in school. I played the piano. I was in plays. I was in theater. And I loved it. And if I could go back and do it again, I would do it. So I'm telling you now, we will go above and beyond to make sure this program continue to grow and be successful. And I appreciate each and every one of you every year that continue to be involved in it. And that's all.
I'd like to hand the questions back to table 1.
Starting at table 1, I will start off by addressing candidate Richard, that's a lie, I'm so sorry. Candidate Karen Bell. Bullying and harassment towards women, LGBTQ+ students, African American students, and students with disabilities seems to be worse than ever. How do you plan on creating a unified, inclusive environment while still celebrating these students' differences?
That, I want to say, is a hot topic around the world. But as a potential school board member, my goal is to provide a safe, inclusive, and constructive learning environment for all students. This will be accomplished by taking into account perspectives from our educators, students, parents, and the community, all while making sure that the decisions made will follow the district policies and state laws. It's important to zone in on student welfare, academic performance, and policy compliances while having inclusive conversations. So all students no matter their race, gender, physical abilities, or background, deserve a comprehensive education. So we do this by creating a safe and inclusive environment where students feel that they have a voice and they can be heard and respected. This approach is also addresses the BLM movement. Inclusion and support for every student shows that all lives matter. Thank you.
Much. I will be moving that same question over to candidate Paul Hoffman.
There it is. Electrical engineer can't figure it out. So don't let that detract you from this. This is a touchy subject for many of us. And so first, one thing in my background, that racial hatred is very close to my experience. Being the son of Holocaust survivors, we understand racial-based hatred. Now, I'll tell you how we deal with it, because Jewish people deal with it for thousands of years. You develop an overcoming attitude. You don't focus on being a victim. So I treat everybody the same, but I really want everyone to succeed. So I want people, my desire is that people look at their giftings, and I look at them all equally, treat each one like I want to be treated, and make sure opportunities are available. That's why I'm such a merit-based advancement proponent, because I think merit and judgment on performance is really the key to quality and excelling as a student and as a person.
Thank you very much. I will move that question over to candidate Richard Janasek. Would you like me to repeat, or are you good?
Good.
All right.
So regardless of what's going on at the federal level and at state levels, there are certainly threats of cuts based on identities of states and local school districts. But you can't get away from who you are and what you want to be. Schools have always been, or should have been, and should be, the safest place in any community. And it should be the safest place for students, for staff, and all visitors, period. Now, I know there's board policy, but there, above and beyond the policy, there needs to be an attitude. And the attitude is that climate culture. Not me, not my friends, not my school. Don't let it happen. Everybody is important. Every person that walks in the door is a good person. They belong, and they need to have a safe place to learn and to teach and to come visit. And so I know there's board policy, but I think there's got to be an enhancer of an attitude and a push from the board directing the superintendent that's always got to be one of the goals in every building, however that looks at a grade school or a middle school or high school, however that looks, there's got to be that climate culture. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. We will now move over on to table 2.
All right, I'm going to direct this question first to Katie Littlefield. Due to the recent political statements, some ethnic groups feel afraid and targeted. How do you plan on stopping racism in school more efficiently?
How do I plan to stop it more efficiently? I think just speaking to what you're talking about, having a climate where you have a very welcoming place, I think that's how you can accomplish that. The culture of a school district, what it fosters, what it, again, back to what it celebrates, definitely brings students in and welcomes them. I think everyone sitting at this table thinks every student, regardless of wherever they're at in their life, needs whatever the tools they need to succeed. And I think a school district and a school building is a place to be safe, and students should feel protected and not fear going to school. I think those that operate in the space of racial hatred and where that is being acted out on, where you see that. I don't know if Harlem experiences an immense amount of that, just because I'm not privy to seeing that. I would assume that that would be taken care of and handled in the appropriate manners and with the policies that are already in place. So.
All right. I'm going to move it to Diane McKinney. Same question. Would you like me to restate it?
As an educator in the classroom, my students at the middle school or the elementary school were not allowed to come in and be disrespectful to each other. That was my community, my classroom. They needed to know that they needed to belong. They needed to know that they could voice their opinion, but they had to be respectful to each other. When it wasn't, we had to have the discussion, because you can't teach and they can't learn if those kids are upset. They can't be part of the community in our classroom and disrupt the educational process of other kids learning. So we needed to work it out. They needed to know that I was willing to listen, but they also needed to make sure that other people in that classroom listened to them also. If we needed some time after school, we always had that opportunity to talk. If they needed to go down to a social worker, or if they needed to go see the counselor. But they needed to work it out with each other too. They needed to communicate. The more we communicate, the better. And then we probably wouldn't have a lot of this hatred and all this stuff that's going on in our humanity, in our communities.
Right. I'm going to direct the question to Diana Johnson. Would you like me to restate it?
No, thank you. I understand it. I would like to say I thought Diane McKinney did a very great presentation. Everyone has about what it means and the racism, adjusting these questions. I think a lot of it does have to do with communication. We need to have everyone understand that we're all different, but we're all the same. We can all get along. We have to teach each other that even at home it starts that way, that we have to all respect each other. We can have differences, but we all can respect each other. And I think that's what it's all about. And I think that's all what we need to do. In fact, I wanted to do, I've been thinking about this, but I know the students out there might be getting a little tired. So this is a very easy way to look at it, and I know it's not how it really is, but I want to do a little thing for you here real quick. Do we have any Bear fans in the audience? Okay, stand up, Bear fans. I want you up on your feet. Right now, all up on the board too. You Bear fans, here we go. All right. Here we go. On the count of 3, I want the Bear fans to yell "Bear down," and I want it real loud, and the rest of you will get your chance. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, Bear down! Well, look, they're not all Bear fans, are they?
No, they're not.
Okay, you sit down. Yeah, we're stretching our legs. Now, all right, who are the Packer fans out there? Who's got that yellow and gold idea? So stand up, Packer fans, let's go. Come on, come on. Oh, all right, Packer fans, now look. We all know that 3-word phrase you like to yell all the time up there at Lambeau. Us Bear fans aren't really excited about it, but you know that 3-word phrase, so on the count of 3, you're going to yell it. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Go, Pack, go! Well, there we go. Now, as you know, is there any other NFL fans out there that didn't name your team? Yell your team out. You got a team you like? Okay, there we go. So as you can see, we don't all have the same team, and a lot of times we don't. We like to tease each other. But you know, if you think about it, you know, I'm going down through the mire with my Caleb jersey on, my Caleb Williams 18 jersey, having a good time listening to the radio on the elevator music. I turn around the corner, I run into my friend, and you know what? They got a green and gold throwback jersey from Brett Favre. Now, I didn't know they were a Packer fan, but you know what? It was okay. So
Sorry.
That's what my point is.
All right. Going to direct the same question to Patty Lawrence. Go ahead.
I think I remember the question after all that. So Tampa fan here, just for all you people out there. So I agree. I think that the issue, we're still on the, I just want to make sure I'm still on the racism question. Okay, thank you. You know, it is very unfortunate. I did see that they had conducted a study here at the school, and the number one issue on the board was racism, and I think it was 29% of the students were concerned about racism in the school district. I think it's very important to realize that this should not be tolerated. It goes along with bullying. There should be 0% acceptance of any type of bullying, any type of racism in these walls. As everybody has said, this is a safe place for your students. You should have the comfort of knowing that you can send your kids here and they're going to be safe during the day. I think that when my kids were in school, they were bullied themselves, and they were also suspended from school for sticking up for a child who was being bullied. And they came home and we celebrated that they had stuck up for someone who was being bullied. I think that what Harlem has done and consistently should continue doing is reviewing the policy. The policies have changed, but you know, times are getting a lot tougher in these buildings. It's tougher for the students, it's tougher for the teachers, and we really need to review. I think I've lost something here. Can you hear me? Okay, we really need to review the policy. We need to have more reports made on what is going on in the school. It'd be nice if we had one teacher for every student, but unfortunately we don't, so these incidents have to be reported, they have to be followed up by an administration, and we have to have stricter consequences for these students who are antagonizing issues. So my time's up, thank you.
Right, we're gonna move on to table 3. I would like to direct this question to candidate Kurt Thompson. Due to recent political statements, some LGBTQ+ students feel afraid and targeted. How are you going to combat harassment against the LGBTQ+ students?
Wow, what a pressing one, right? It goes along that our school needs to be a safe space. I would also say that I think this is more an issue of the community. I think a lot of our kids find this less to be an issue of safety or the concern that it is than the parents or the politics that are directly out there. So one, I want to give something to the students, right? You guys are doing it right. Now what we can do, right? We're at the board. We need to make sure things are done correctly. We need to make sure that we're taking care of our diverse learners, that this is a safe space. We have the right administration that's in there to give them the safe space. Again, if anything happens or targeting, I don't care if it's bullying or racism or based on who you are. You know who you are, it's direct. You need to make sure you have its support from administration. And I think you've got that support from administration right now. What we need to do is review the policies, make sure that is set and supported. We're going into an area of everyone's got the internet. On Wednesday, we heard a story of a first grader that's on social media on her phone, right? I say that anecdotally, but those spaces need to be safe as well, because it's very, not easy, but I think we can actually handle things through the administration, through our teachers, through our excellent staff. We need to make sure that we're ready for that next step. What's going on in those technical spaces to make sure they're safe for everyone directly through that. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to direct that same question to candidate Evelyn Meeks.
Can you hear me? I believe in the statement, God is love. We're supposed to love everybody regardless of your sexual orientation, and I feel that the gay community has the right as everyone else in the world to be able to love who they love, go where they want to go, be with who they want to be with, regardless. It's hard every day just to live, and we should start getting into the thing of love people, not hurt people, and treat everybody with respect, because we're all same people. We have a head, we have a neck, we have arms, eyes, ears, nose, mouth. We need to stop hating people and realize that everybody was created and God is love, and we need to start showing more love and respect, because I think it's bad when a person of that community can't be themselves. And we need to realize times are changing. We're not living back in the 1800s and the 40s and 50s. When a person lives in a house and they're not bothering you, why should we worry about what they're doing? As long as they're living every day, working, going to school, paying their bills, what they do in their behind closed doors. Once they close that door, that's none of our business. As long as they're not hurting us, I think we should treat everybody the same. Just love everybody and be respectful of everybody and not hate. Hate is a bad word that needs to be eliminated because this younger generation don't focus on hate. You know, they don't know what that is until they're taught. So we need to start teaching love. Thank you.
Very proud. While I was still an administrator here at the high school, the school district started efforts to recognize the diversity and equity, because this is a public school. And when you are a public school, you're opening your doors up to everybody within the community. We have diverse learners. That's what our mission says, is to help diverse learners meet their unlimited potential. When you put barriers in front of somebody because of who they are, you're not helping them meet their unlimited potential. You're putting roadblocks up. I'm proud of the school district, that the work that they have done in regards to equity. I was proud to be part of it when it started. We had other school districts come into our school district to see what we were doing in regards to it. And we continue to this day, even having the equity team of the district represented during the Council of the Whole meeting of the school board. I went on after retirement. I went to Northern Illinois University, and I continued being engaged with the Center of Diversity and Equity at NIU, and I was proud of the work that they were doing there as well. It shouldn't be an issue. Thank you, Ms. Meeks.
Thank you. To begin, I would like to say thank you again to all the candidates for joining us and answering our questions. We would like to encourage everyone to visit the Commons to engage in one-on-one conversation with the candidates and ask any further questions you may have. Feel free to enjoy any of the refreshments prepared by the culinary students, and thank you all for attending.